Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's Damon once again with another series video. In this case, I recently touched about TV series, talked about movies. Let's go back to a bit of wrestling, a little bit of this. And today I don't feel like doing a serious topic about wrestling. That'll come this in the weeks to follow, next episode to follow. But today I wanted to laugh a little bit. Sometimes we talk about great decision at WrestleMania. I mean, Austin 316 reigning at WrestleMania 14. The year prior to this, WrestleMania 13. The beginning of the double turn between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Again, I once mentioned that Bret Hart, usually turns at the time that he turned in WWE, it's hilarious and ironic that you first turn face at WrestleMania 4 by throwing out a bald, black tights wearing loner who attacks everybody out of the ring after being cheated out of a battle royal. And 9 years later, he trashes a bald, black tights wearing wrestler who attacks everybody in the sharpshooter, and he feels screwed of the same fans that used to cheer for him in WrestleMania 4 now boo him at WrestleMania 13. It's like come full circle. So again, just a little thing like that, but or Hulk Hogan body slamming the Giant, Hulk Hogan winning his first world title. Shawn Michaels winning his first WWE title at WrestleMania 12 in an awesome Iron Man match, which is still one of my favorite. I must be the minority, or maybe I'm the one not making revisionist story, but I actually love that match. It's not my favorite Shawn Michaels match of all time, but it's one of my favorite WrestleMania match of all time. I remember back in the day renting WrestleMania 12 often to see that Iron Man match. So. But you have this, you have the first WrestleMania, you have WrestleMania 3. I mean, as much as people complain about wrestling, sometimes when they get it right, they get it right. Okay, I did a video of the worst booking decisions, but now let's talk about the best booking decision. And why it's hilarious, here's a twist. What if, instead of saying, oh, WB screwed up a booking, how about we do it? How about I do it? Let's take the top 16 best booking decision gone wrong. Or this top 16 best booking decision that I get wrong on purpose. I make worse on purpose. Okay, I'll start with one. An example, Cody Rhodes. Everybody remembers that people were angry that WrestleMania 39, he didn't get the WWE title. Okay, WrestleMania 40, it was basically an Avengers Endgame like ending. WrestleMania. I really like the match, but let's be honest, the match isn't the match by itself. The match by itself is fine. It's the story behind it. Just like WrestleMania 18, the match, if you go move by move, it's not the best. It's the story behind it. Cody Rhodes basically gets the match. He seems to be even, but like a final boss of a game, okay, he's about to beat Roman Reigns on his own. But like a final boss in a video game, sometimes he'll send an henchman in him. So he tries to send Jimmy Uso, but Jay Uso comes in and they both crash the table and nullifying both of their efforts. So, in that case, the match continues. Cody Rhodes to win again when suddenly Solo Sikoa come out of nowhere to attack him. And you think it's going to be a reprisal of WrestleMania 39, but no, John Cena appears and does deliver the AA to Solo Sikoa through a table. And afterwards, the final boss, The Rock, appears. And the final boss appears. And rock bottoms John Cena, takes care of him. Then a very hurt, very injured and wounded Seth Rollins appears in a shield costume to attract attract the attention of Roman Reigns and also to anger him. And that works because the moment that Seth Rollins appears, he doesn't even land a hit. He gets hit by the steel chair. Then The Rock seems to basically direct traffic, and they look to go to win. All of a sudden, you hear a gong, and the Undertaker comes in, chokes The Rock out of his shoes, and both the Undertaker and The Rock are out of the equation. So what's left is a down Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes seems to be out for the pin, and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns had an opportunity to land the final blow on Cody Rhodes, but alas, he decides to let revenge of the past be more important, so he attacks Seth Rollins and hits him in the back, like Seth Rollins hit him in the back in 2014. But that happens to be his undoing. Cody Rhodes recovers. Three crossroads later, Cody Rhodes not only become the WWE champion for the very first time and Universal champion as well, in the process, but he also ends Roman Reigns' 4-year run as champion. That was great. That's a summation of what happened. But what if it didn't happen like this? What if basically Cody happened, basically get the same kind of interference, but out of nowhere, out of complete nowhere, Cody Rhodes goes to the cover, and the referee decides to count for two and stops the count. What referee? Doesn't matter. The referee is an unknown that you don't know. It's like, okay, what's going to be happening? What happens there? And basically, I don't know, it could be Danny Davis. Danny Davis comes back for no reason, does that. Like, for some reason, why is he allowed back as a referee despite being banned for lifetime as a referee? Second of all, why would you trust him to be a referee? And third of all, he delivers a low blow, which Cody Rhodes should be at the peak of his physical shape, and Danny Davis should be around the 60s, 70s, and it hurt him that much. And I also know where Roman Reigns just hit a roll up with the tights and wins. Imagine the crowd if that happened. Imagine. And that's just a low effort. It's not even a big effort what I just did. But I think it would be kind of hilarious that happens. And you could throw in that same match could have interference for no reason but Rob Conway just for hear his theme music. I just want to hear the sound of the excitement go to a screeching halt. That's a normal mention. Here's number 16, because I want it to have an impact. It can't just be a normal match you don't know. It has to have an impact. Hulk Hogan faced the Iron Sheik. We all know what happened. Hogan got put in put in the camel clutch. He lifts him up. He didn't just break out the hold. He lifts him up, basically retreats the corner so that makes sure that basically Iron Sheik's back hit the turnbuckle and basically the cables, hit the leg drop 1, 2, 3. But what happened? If he does the same thing, Hogan does the same thing, he goes basically to hit Iron Sheik in the corner, and out of nowhere, classy Freddie Blassie takes basically a chair and slams against Hogan's back and he's DQ'd. And Iron Sheik gets DQ'd, and he retains title. Or even worse, it's the same thing happens. He goes against the corner, basically he he lifts him up, hits him against the turnbuckle. Freddie Blassie comes on the apron with, let's say, a cane. Hogan takes a cane and for no reason in front of the referee hits Iron Sheik with a cane, gets disqualified, doesn't get another title shot again. Imagine how it would be. No Hulkamania doing this and doing exactly what Vern Gagne did to Hulk Hogan in AWA in the 80s. Now that would have been hilarious on paper. That would have been hilarious in business. Number 15 in WWE NWA. Remember that time when Sting in the 1990s was injured and needed knee surgery, so Lex Luger had to face Ric Flair Capital Combat? Who was in Lex Luger and Sting's back corner? Of course, it's RoboCop. Now imagine, people can say it's wrestle crap, but there's the fact that it's Peter Weller under the outfit, so I'm going to give it a little bit of thumbs up. But all he did was to ward off interference. But imagine if Luger, in chase of his first world title, delivers his big-time power slam to Ric Flair. The Horsemen, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, Sid Vicious, JJ Dillon all try to interfere. Luger beats all of them but Sid. Now, who helps is the slow-moving cop machine RoboCop, who just simply yanks gently on Sid's leg, and Sid gently falls to the mat outside and basically pretend that basically his leg is basically hurt. And no, that's not trying to make a reference to Sin 2001. But still, imagine that. And then for no reason, RoboCop just takes the metal bars of the cage and destroy them. And rather than climbing out, Lex or pitting Ric Flair, Lex Luger just climbs out of it, wins, and then wins the world title. Imagine if it was his first world title like this. It's actually better that he did win the world title if he's going to be winning like this. I mean, not only would he establish him as a guy who can get his win on his own, but he's a babyface who will take any shortcut to win. And then Sting will be like left out of the whole plan. So imagine that. Anyway, just as this. Number 9. So here we go. Okay. Uh, Number 14, WrestleMania 3. We all know the excellent, awesome Intercontinental title match between Randy Macho Man Savage and Ricky Steamboat. And when at the ending, George Steele helped his friend Steamboat to not get injured with the ring bell. When Savage on the top rope, he just shoved him on the top. Let's take the entire match. The same time match it happens, but at the end, when Savage on top rope, George Steele still managed to push him, but what he didn't know was that Ricky Steamboat was standing, and by mistake, Randy Savage does manage to hit Ricky Steamboat's ring bell. George Steele's outside going frantic. Randy Savage throws out the ring bell and pins Ricky Steamboat to leave as a champion, which not only negates basically Ricky Steamboat's big title reign. It also negates Randy Savage's face turn happening. He doesn't face the Honky Tonk Man. He doesn't become basically an ally to Hulkamania. Ultimately, he doesn't win the title at WrestleMania 4 just because that stupid booking decision. Imagine that. That's number 14. Number 13, WrestleMania 21. Batista gets pinned by Triple H. Batista was red hot. People talk about John Cena at the time. At that era, 2005, Batista was by far the most popular wrestler there was. And the thing is, most of it, when he really started to get cheered as a face, was like Drew McIntyre 2020. Both of them were technically heel or tweenerish when they won the Rumble. They weren't face. It just organically, people start to cheer more for them because you see a badass monster who doesn't make excuse about what he is, or what he looks for, or what he wants, the world title. But he's not going to go use a shortcut. He's going to do it his way. Batista won the Rumble, and basically, he wasn't really trying to be convinced by Triple H to take the other world title shot, the WWE title. And that time, sorry guys, but at that time, the WWE title was of the two world title was the slightly less prestigious. The world title was the most prestigious at the time. And Batista realized that Triple H tried to manipulate him because he basically heard him saying that Dave Batista wasn't that smart. And that led to incredible face turn, one of the greatest face turns of all time in 2005. And at WrestleMania, despite the fact people said the match wasn't great, I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't the best match on the card when you have Undertaker versus Randy Orton, the original Money in the Bank match, a great opener between Eddie and Rey Mysterio, and of course Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle. But look at that card. Even if you settle for fifth best match on the card, it's very good. That whole WrestleMania is one of the best and most underrated WrestleManias of all time. We need to talk more about that WrestleMania. In that Mania, Batista won against Triple H, a great main event. Great ending. I mean, Batista countering a pedigree. And I like the fact that he didn't kick out the pedigree. He just countered the pedigree into what was basically a white noise, which we never saw him do before. He usually was a spine buster before the Batista bomb, but he didn't do this time around. He switched it up and then delivered one Batista bomb. One. Not 7, not 6, 1. 1, 2, 3. And it wins. Very great moment. But what if he tries to do, at the same time he tries to do a Batista bomb, for some reason Triple H, a sledgehammer, does the pedigree, waits a minute, and then drags his arm over Batista 1, 2, 3. And that's the end of that WrestleMania. Do you understand that you would have undercut that babyface? You would have undercut Batista, and even if he would win at Backlash, it's not the same anymore. You just destroyed his chance of becoming a big-time face for the company. That's number 13. That last we got worse. 12. Seth Rollins fails to cash in at WrestleMania 31. Seth Rollins from WrestleMania 28 to 35. He's not uh he's not without losses, but he always end up finishing a WrestleMania night with a win, with a big time win. It didn't. Yes, earlier in the night he got pinned by Randy Orton, but later in the night, as you know, in the main event where it's like people didn't want Brock Lesnar to win, but they didn't want Roman Reigns to win the title. Seth Rollins cashed in, win the title to everybody's contentment. What if he still tries cashes in, but the moment he cashes in, he gets F5'd. Roman Reigns basically throws Brock Lesnar against the steel post, and he's out, and delivers a spear to pin Seth Rollins, and to win the WWE title, and to nullify the old Money in the Bank match. Or better yet, even better, Roman Reigns doesn't move. Seth Rollins appears, gets F5, 1, 2, 3. Can you imagine how people react at that? Could you imagine that? Can you imagine how awful would people be to just be invested in WWE? Oh, wait, that's a feeling that people had for a while. For a while from 2019 to maybe 2022 before Vince left. But still, you understand my point of view. Sometimes even there, even that type of WWE, even with Vince, later Vince, later career Vince, there's still some moment of brilliance, but that wouldn't have been brilliance. That's basically throwing money away and burning it. Talk about burning it down. But yeah, that would be awful for number 12. Number 11. DDP's face turn in 1997. DDP was going his own way when that NWO come out. He basically said, hey, they go their own way. They won't interfere with mine. Until all of a sudden, DDP gets the outsider's edge from Scott Hall at Starrcade 96, which enabled Eddie Guerrero to win the U.S. title at Starrcade 96 because they were in the U.S. title tournament, Eddie Guerrero versus DDP, and they were in the midst of a feud. A little after this, DDP is confronted by the NWO, and they really want DDP to join them because they had a past together. So for a while, DDP puts on the NWO shirt. Scott Hall is happy. Kevin Nash is thrilled and leaves the ring, as did Six Pac, aka X Pac. But when nobody's looking, DDP delivers the Diamond Cutter, turns face, gets cheered like crazy, and there starts basically the People's Champion gimmick. But what if it didn't happen? What if the same thing happened? Kevin Nash goes outside the ring, X-Pac goes outside the ring, DDP tries the Diamond Cutter, but lo and behold, Scott Hall sees it coming, hits him with a tag title belt, and basically the NWO beatdown happens, and they straight an NWO on it. And next time you see DDP, he comes out as basically the heel that you know, basically beforehand. He does the same stuff that he used beforehand, and you just destroy a complete baby face there. That makes me laugh because even WCW, keep that in mind, even WCW knew you shouldn't do that. That says something. That's number 12. That's number 11. Number 10. Again, WCW. Bash at the Beach 1996. Tremendous when Hulk Hogan turned heel. Who's the turn? Is he the turn man? When Hulk Hogan turned heel on WCW and joined the NWO, was revealed as the leader of the NWO. But what if we change a little bit of this? Hogan does come out, still hits Randy Savage with the leg drop, 2, 3 leg drops, and then pins him as Scott Hall and Kevin Nash comes in, and they clear the ring. But when basically they try to high five and give basically the Wolfpack sign to Hogan, they immediately attack Hogan as well, as if it was WrestleMania 18. And all of a sudden, basically, Kevin Nash does a jackknife powerbomb to Hulk Hogan and then pin him 1, 2, 3. So you're asking, okay, what happens? Who's revealed as the head of the new NWO? I don't know. It could be Jerry Flynn. I just imagine just the jaw dropping basically on the floor, saying, "What the hell is that?" And that's my point with this video. What the hell is that? You could have had Roadblock as or Mabel as the leader of the NWO. You know what I mean? Anybody that doesn't fit, like at least Nash and all were big time stars from the WWE. Could be a star from the WWE or a guy who's like undercard of the WWE. And that would make me laugh. Again, horrible business, but that's the thing That is here the basically the type of subject of this video. It's not supposed to be good decision or you could have done the other way around, it would have been better. No, horrible booking decisions. The worst, abysmal, and hilarious. Such as number 9, WrestleMania 14. The Austin era doesn't happen. HBK wins against Austin. I know there was rumors in the back that HBK did not want to do the job, but imagine if he really didn't. And by this, I didn't. There's not even an interference. Not even interference. In fact, Austin tries to cheat to win. He's trying to get interference to win. He's trying to get help from ONR to win for some reason. ONR appears there, hits Sean in the back with a crescent kick or the Inzaguri. Austin tries to pin him, one, two kick out. Owen and Triple H brought it back. For some reason, Savio Vega comes out, does his spinning heel kick to Shawn Michaels. It's not good enough to pin him. Afterwards, who else was here? This Foley and Fun come out to try to help Austin to win the title, but the New Age Outlaws actually do the save despite being heels, go to the back. HBK gets a sweet shimmies on and where 1, 2, 3. And the crowd goes, That's one of the most fun videos to do this because it's like, yeah, it's my kind of humor. You don't want to see it happening, but just hilarious just think about it. Boy, would the crowd be. I don't think the W would have recovered if they actually did what I just said. I think W would be dead. And not sarcastically, like in the ratings, not just flat out dead. They had to make a change. But those are the kind of videos I like to do because they're hilarious. Number 8, speaking of Austin, Bret versus Austin. We all know that awesome match at the end. We all know WrestleMania 13. There were 2 good matches. Sure, I'll just say Chicago Street Fight eventually, yeah, of course. I mean, Ahmed and LOD versus the Nation of Domination is a match that's not brought out often, but it's a great match. Another little match is Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in a submission match with Ken Shamrock as a special guest referee. I'm going to give the flowers to Ken Shamrock because I think it should be in Hall of Fame anyway. World dangerous, most dangerous man. And every time he was on screen, you could easily portray that, hey, you didn't want to take him off. You didn't want to anger him. I mean, just one before he comes to the ring, basically gets in the zone, and it kind of made you feel like don't anger him. He's just trying to be. He's already having a fight. He's basically fighting. Just he's like the Incredible Hulk. He felt like the Incredible Hulk as a wrestler. So people saying he wasn't a character. He was a character, and he worked, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. Now, Bret Hart versus Austin. While in the match, basically Bret tries desperately. He's not just fighting Austin, he's fighting the fans who see him maybe as a washed up crybaby. He's fighting the commentary because even the face commentary at that time, Vince McMahon, starting to make it seem like he's a whiner. Jerry Lawler hates Bret, so he still insults him. And Jim Ross kind of says, keeps praising Austin. It feels like the world's against Bret Hart. And it's a fantastic match. Austin bleeds, whatever. And the end of the match is Austin tries to choke Bret. He takes the ring bell and locks in the sharpshooter. And the first time it's broken. We keep that sequence in. But what if for no reason Bret Hart decides, you know what, never mind never mind the sharpshooter. I'm just gonna hit him, use a normal, basically, a arm lock like this, and then Austin taps frantically. Yeah, Bret still wins, but it's like it wouldn't be as a tough matter. It just seems like Austin just had enough. It's like, never mind. And the whole Austin period goes away. Austin never comes a face again. He stays a heel, and for some reason, in that decision, Austin sometimes is a heel and Bret Hart's a heel. They would fight, but sometimes would yell up each other and just be confused and hilarious. And again, I don't endorse those booking decisions. I just make it out to make it worse. So that's number 8. Number 7. Well, no Goldberg, July 1998. He was undefeated. He wrestled Hulk Hogan after defending the U.S. title that he won from Raven in April 1998. He defended on the same night he faced Hogan. The condition was he had to beat Scott Hall in a U.S. title match. So he defended the U.S. title match against Scott Hall successfully. Now he faced Hogan, and he seems on his way to win. I mean, Hogan hits 3-leg drop. He goes to cover, 1, 2 kick out. Same thing. We keep it this. Then Kurt Angle goes to ringside. But Karl Malone appears out of nowhere and delivers a diamond cutter curtaining and not paying him out. The disciple, Bruce Beefcake, tries to do something, and Hogan is distracted by all of this. Now, you're gonna say what changes? I mean, not only this, the fact of this, it's like he's looking back and there's a toilet paper. I don't know why it was with Hogan and toilet paper that was thrown out in WCW, but you see a person throwing toilet paper, and as Goldberg goes for the spear, the referee, I think it's Nick Patrick, delivers a low blow. Imagine this. Imagine if that's anything. And Hogan just resort to holding the tights, rolling up Goldberg, rolling the tights, 1, 2, 3. How do you ruin that? How do you ruin an undefeated streak from a bald-headed guy who seems to be destroying people by having a referee low blow him in the world title, their first title match, and a normal roll up with the tights? Who would do? Oh, CM Punk and Ryback, right? Good God. And they said that WWE ruined everything. WWE ruined their own Ryback, which was supposed to be a Goldberg ripoff, but still, at least WWE got it right. WWE couldn't even do a ripoff right. You know, can say what you want about Ryback. By the time he should have either won the title, not the WWE title, but the world title, and the Royal Rumble 2013, or you just don't book somebody like that. But again, Hogan pinning Rick Goldberg in that manner will be hilarious to me if we look at it this way. Okay, number 6. I praise the Iron Man match with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. People can say what you want, it was too long, whatever. There was no any falls. To me, that's the point. It's subversing expectation. You expect there'll be falls, but there's none. They're just that good. They can't put each other away. So, sure, it could have been a 60-minute match as well, but I like the fact there's none until the end. And there's a sudden death, and I still maintain not just that match was epic, just as much as my brother's reaction. The greatest, biggest Bret Hart fan since Jason Solomon. Maybe both of them should have a wrestling match to determine who is the biggest fan of Bret Hart. The moment the pay-per-view, the match ended, and Shawn's celebrating the year, Vince was like, "The dream has come true for Shawn Michaels. This childhood dream has come true. The boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels." Turn on the TV and say, "Go to sleep. Nothing to see here." P.S. My brother was is still angry about that result today. He still says so raw. Ah, what a mark. You know what? Hey dude. But imagine if it wasn't that case. If Bret Hart versus Shawn wasn't that case. For some reason, Shawn Michaels used to lose his mind. Let's say he has cold that day. And for some reason he decides, I'm not gonna be at WrestleMania, I have a cold. So WWE is in already big trouble. So you think, okay, Bret goes to the ring, or basically Shawn goes, Ozzy Lothario goes to the ring. You think Ozzy's gonna wrestle Bret? Nah, it's not gonna happen. Bret Hart's gonna face Make a Difference Fatu, and they're gonna announce him as the Royal Rumble winner, despite the fact he wasn't. And then Fatu wins the title, and it's like the old Make a Difference scenario. It still happens. It's still the make us. It's basically they're gonna promote Fatu as Make a Difference Fatu as the main guy for the company. Even if Shawn just missed one night for this, it's like, okay, Shawn, can you have to toughen out a little bit? You had cold. You didn't have a flu. You didn't have this. You had cold. Why couldn't you just tough it out for one night and then the next day you can rest? But that's the thing about those kind of dumb decisions. It's like, okay, a bit of realism, but it's like our best decision could have gone severely wrong if you had a bad person in charge at the time, or a worse person in charge. And that's number 6. Number 5. The Ultimate Warrior might be a polarizing figure in general, but let's be honest, he was super over, super popular, he was super charismatic, and I actually like his promo. I'm not gonna say it's my top 10, but it's my top 20, that's for sure. Ooh, nobody knows what he meant. No, he used a lot of metaphors, and you had to think beyond the literal. You can't take it as a literal sentence. It was basically metaphors. I like that because it was distinguished himself from the rest, just like Jake Roberts did. And it was a very good, like, he ran the ring. Maybe he wasn't great in the ring. To me, it's like, I'm sorry, but Goldberg is basically the Attitude Era's version of the Ultimate Warrior. And I never were good in the ring, but Ultimate Warrior actually injured more people than Goldberg did. And the only reason why people talk more about Goldberg is because Goldberg injured Bret, which he injured. That is true, but he's not the main reason why Bret Hart retired. Bret Hart retired because he had an history, he had a baggage of injuries, and Bret Hart, rather than basically going for concussions treatment right away, decided I'll keep on wrestling and wrestle Terry Funk in a hardcore match and get drop on my head there. Wrestle Kevin Nash, wrestle Jerry Flynn, Kevin Nash again in a no holds bar match. You don't think that didn't hand it up? Again, I don't want to go on tirade, but it's like at the time in 1988, the Ultimate Warrior was getting really over, and Brutus Beefcake had an injury. I don't know if it was a planned one or this, but you had rumors he was going to win the title, but he's not there anymore. He's injured. So somebody has to take the place of Brutus Beefcake, and out comes the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, Honky Tonk Man says, "Give me somebody to wrestle. I don't care who it is." And the Ultimate Warrior just bolts out the ring like he usually does. Nearly runs over Howard, the late great Howard Finkel, as he goes to ring. But imagine instead of the squash of destroying of Ultimate Warrior destroying the Honky Tonk Man in 30 seconds, the moment Ultimate Warrior arrives at the ring, Honky Tonk Man takes the guitar, smashes it against the Ultimate Warrior, and pins him 1, 2, 3. Treated him like William Regal treated Shawn Stasiak back in 2002. Imagine that. That'd be basically from now on, Ultimate Warrior would be basically the equivalent of Shawn Stasiak in 2002. It'd be Planet Warrior instead of Planet Stasiak. Imagine that. Just want you to imagine this in your head right now. I'm leaving you 5 seconds to think about it. So how does it feel? How does it make you feel? It made you feel like, what the hell's going on? Damon, what's going on? Why are you trying to do this? I'm just thinking, all the moments, you're ruining them. That's the point. That's the point of this video. I'm trying to ruin all the good memories you got by making you think, or at least appreciate them better to see how worse it could have been. That's number 5. Number 4, WrestleMania 3, main event. We all know he slams the Giant, and while the match is great, it's an important match. You know what? It's an important match when people in that do not watch wrestling say, "I was there when he slammed the Giant." They all remember that moment. People who don't like wrestling know that moment. They understood that, and while they might not like wrestling, they said, "Holy boy, corporation, collaboration or not, I don't think anybody in the world could just slam under a Giant," but he did. I mean, that was the second to last move of the match. He hit many moves before. It wasn't a big boot. It was a body slam, the leg drop on the tree. But he tried at the beginning of the match, and he failed. He had close 2 count. What if it wasn't close? What if he tried like 2, 3 punches at the beginning of the match, tries to slam him, he tumbles on top of him, 1, 2, 3, in like 8 seconds, Andre Giant beats Hulk Hogan to win the world title at WrestleMania, brother. Do you understand how bad that would have been? Do you understand how basically people at the time, at the boom of rock and wrestling, would have turned off WWE, never watched again? And again, I don't think there'd be a WrestleMania afterwards, or if not, there might be 2, 3, and they would have gone the way of ECW. So that's my point of that video. It's how to make sure that not only that it was bad decision, not only would it would anger people, but would make sure they would never come back to wrestling ever again. That's number 4. Number 3, WrestleMania 30. Sure, there's a streak that happened, but that's a bad decision. That's one of the worst decisions that happened. I mentioned it in basically your worst booking decisions of the videos. So I'm not touching that. But there's like one great booking decision in that whole show. The treatment of Daniel Bryan. He fought against the Authority. He should have He should have won the Royal Rumble 2014. But if he does, he doesn't get to wrestle Triple H. So to me, that's kind of the dilemma. Because if he wins a Rumble, he gets a straightforward shot against Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And I feel like looking back, maybe it would have been as good. You should at least have won either the Elimination Chamber match or number 1 contendership. That's what I feel like he should have done. But maybe not the main event maybe not the Royal Rumble. But the moment it happened, he wrestled against Triple H. In my case, in my opinion, it's the second best WrestleMania opener of all time. WrestleMania 30, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. Preceded by the third best opener at WrestleMania, which is for the Ice title, WrestleMania 34, Seth Rollins versus Miz versus Finn Balor. And the number one is WrestleMania 10, Bret versus Owen. But anyway, imagine that all happens. Daniel Bryan beats Triple H to close said match. So now you go through the main event of WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Triple H. Daniel Bryan is barely in this. He's still very hurt. And they announce a special guest referee in Triple H. And you think, okay, he's going to be Dawes. He's going to basically be three people at once, running two to win the title. He's going to be a very screwy finish. Oh, he'll kind of be screwy. He's going to insert Scott Armstrong and take care of Stephanie. He's going to take care of everybody of the authority, what's left the authority with Kane. And you think something bad's going to happen, but Daniel Bryan hits Randy Orton with the running knee, but out of nowhere, Dave Bautista hits one of those thunderous clotheslines, leading to basically Randy Orton giving your RKO to Daniel Bryan, Bautista giving a Bautista bomb to Randy Orton, and then he puts them both on his back, on their stomach, sorry, delivers his Bautista bite, I think his submission maneuver, in precisely 1 second, the whole both of them tap out furiously. And Bautista wins the title, tell everybody to deal with it and screw it and to go screw themselves as the WrestleMania 30 ends in the same evening when the streak ends. Could you imagine the Louisiana crowd after this? The New Orleans crowd after this? Could you imagine that? In fact, I think they would wager not to have another WrestleMania there. The WWE would have to plead them to please take another WrestleMania. No, no, not anymore. Screw you. And that'd be the end of this. So that'd be theirs. That's WrestleMania 30. Now to another multiple of 10 WrestleMania. The original one, WrestleMania 10. Well, remember WrestleMania 10. I just mentioned Bret Hart versus Owen are the greatest opening match of WrestleMania history, in my opinion, and one of the top three WrestleMania match of all times. Owen, the better wrestler, won that night. And I like the fact he out wrestled Bret, but he didn't really beat him. He just like if you were to play chess, he didn't destroy his entire army. He just did one rule. Just capitalized on one mistake, and that was it. So it did prove that he was a better wrestler, but a better wrestler for that night. But what's important is that it was built as Bret Hart's finest night, or best night. He was beaten by his brother. The out of Bret Hart is, while he loved his brother Bret, first of all, he didn't really want to fight him. He wanted to wrestle him. But also in the back of his mind, remember, I have a world title match later on tonight. I will not give up, but my priority is the title match tonight. So I will not try to injure myself against my brother. So he faced against Yokozuna, with Burt Reynolds doing the ring announcing. And so you have all this. You have Ronda Shears. You have Bret versus Yoko, and Roddy Piper was the special guest referee, which I thought was a great Easter egg at the time, because it's like, hey, here's somebody who was the first WrestleMania. He's there at the 10th WrestleMania, and it's the same arena. Not only this, he was a participant in the main event, the first WrestleMania in Madison Square Garden, and now the 10th WrestleMania in Madison Square Garden, he's there in the main event as a special guest referee. The same thing happens as in real life, except out of nowhere, when Bret Hart leaps off the second rope to deliver an standing elbow to Yokozuna, Yoko grabs him, delivers a belly-to-belly suplex. But when he spins around, Bret's leg hits Roddy Piper, and for some reason that knocks him out. Okay? Now, you understand, what does that mean? You could still be this. Okay, that leads to Yokozuna going the corner, trying to get the bonsai drop. But beforehand, Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji taps in the shoulder, Yoko in the shoulder, say, nah, not now, not now. So they attack. Both of them mug Bret Hart. They deliver shots with the racket from Jim Cornette and basically with a cane from Mr. Fuji. Well, out of nowhere, Real American hits, and Hulk Hogan arrives again to save the day, like WrestleMania 9, brother. He comes in the ring, hits Fuji, hits Cornette. For some reason, hits Piper, hits Yoko. Bret Hart is outside, doesn't recover because it's not the belly to belly suplex. It's basically being attacked by Cornette that keeps him out. And for some reason, some way, Hogan gets a leg drop, and Roddy Piper doesn't see somebody covering Yoko. He doesn't see that it's Bret Hart. That's Yoko. That's Hogan getting covered. That's covering Yoko's United. 1, 2, 3, and out of nowhere, Hogan wins the title again. He swerved WWE saying he was going to go there, brother, but it's not what he wanted, brother. He just wanted the WWE title, brother. And Bret Hart is pissed. Bret Hart basically does the WWE and painting thing, and the thing is, he doesn't leave WWE. He's there the next night on Raw, and Hogan disappears for 3 months. Do you understand how disastrous would have been? Hilarious, but disastrous. That's number 2. Now you're possibly thinking, Damon, what could be number 1? Seriously, what could be number 1? 1997, September 1997, which now I realize it's nearly, holy crap, nearly 28 years ago. Austin was hurt. Stone Cold Steve Austin was hurt. He basically had neck surgery because of Winard's accidental injury. Basically, when he did a tombstone and tried to do a sit-out pile driver. Basically, he reversed pile driver on Austin. Austin hurt his neck. So he tries to ambush Winard every time he can, but then he retaliates by stunning Jerry Lawler. He stunned Jim Ross at Ground Zero. And now, in reality, it's basically Vince McMahon said, we care about you. We want you to be back in the ring. We want you to get some revenge on Winard, but we want you healthy first. Because right now, you'll be jeopardizing your career. And that led to Austin saying, I appreciate that you care, and I appreciate that, hell, you can kiss my ass, and then stunning Steve Austin, stunning Vince McMahon, and create a moment for the ages. But what if it wasn't? What if it didn't? What if, for some reason, for some stupid reason, it's the same dialogue, same happening, but when Stone Cold Steve Austin tries to deliver the Stone Cold Steve Austin stunner to Vince McMahon, Vince blocks a kick and then delivers some of his awkward, weird punches to Steve Austin, and Steve Austin sells them like they were Undertaker strikes. And Vince McMahon delivers a kata aime to Stone Cold Steve Austin, who for some reason, when he gets choked out, starts to tap out. And as he taps out, Vince decides it's a great moment to deliver to show everybody is wrestling 5 sides. A great moment to start showing Dave Meltzer that he too can play the 5-star game, buddy. And delivers what he thinks is going to be the greatest move in the world, pal. He goes to the top rope and delivers basically a Phoenix splash just before he gets up, and then hurts both of his quads. Imagine the mess that it is. And then afterwards, basically, like, the moment is ruined. You see JR being completely unimpressed and like wondering when his contract is going to come in. He's wondering when WWE's going to hire him. You got Jerry Lawler saying, man, I'm going to USWA soon. I'd rather be there than this. And it's like, it just ends there. Imagine if it was this. It would have ruined Austin. The McMahon rivalry wouldn't exist. And maybe the wrestling business as a whole would not be anywhere near to this. They wouldn't be able to sell the TKO. They might sell the TPBS, though, but not the TKO. Imagine that. So those are my list of top 16 best booking decisions that I purposely ruined. Let me know if you think of any other booking decision I could have made worse, down below. Let me know what you think. And please, if you have to make a bad decision in the comments, make it as hilarious as possible. On that note, thank you. Have a nice day. Go outside. It's beautiful outside. So, bye.